All right, we're talking college football across the map with Josh Parcell from College Football Country. Join him there for some top-notch college football coverage. And Josh, before we let you go, I can tell from hearing Purdue's number 24, you've got a top 5 matchup in Georgia and Mississippi State. I thought I had an unconventional top 25, and I do. But I think we're along the same lines of thinking. Let's look at the resume and let's see what's happened, not make assumptions about what we think is going to happen. So let's rank the teams based on what they've done and not necessarily how good we think they are and what we think they will do. So let's hear some highlights from your top 25.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the ones with the biggest discrepancy between what the AP poll says and what I have Maryland number 7. I think that Texas win looks even better now. I mean, they beat Texas by more than USC did, and they did it on the road. I mean, I don't see how you could look at what the two teams have done so far and honestly rank USC ahead of Maryland. I mean, USC's win over Stanford doesn't look that great anymore. So I have Maryland 7. I have USC 8. I think the Terrapins, on paper, have a top 10 resume. I have Virginia Tech at 11. I think that they're going to end up probably being one of the top 10 teams in the country when they go into the Clemson game. Who else do I have in there? I have Memphis 19. I have San Diego State 20. And Memphis's win over UCLA. Not sure quite how good the Bruins are, but it was an impressive win. They were underdogs in that game. I like what the Tigers are doing. I think they're one of the best group of 5 schools in an American Athletic Conference that is quietly pretty good. So those are some of the highlights. Yeah, Purdue at 24 is definitely one that I like that team. And I just, like you said, I try and evaluate these teams based on what they've done. I don't care about what your recruiting ranking was. I don't care about how many returning starters you have. I don't care about any of that. I just want to see how you play. And I'll update it week to week, and I'll constantly be reevaluating these teams. And by the end of the season, it's going to look a lot like what the eventual polls will look like. But at this point in time, I just think it's absurd that a team like Mississippi State is sitting at 16 or 17 in an AP poll when there aren't 5 teams in the country who look better than them so far. It's just nonsense to me. But that's the way college football is, and you just have to live with it. But as long as they keep giving me these advantages to exploit from a gambling perspective, when you really actually look at these teams objectively, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, Wisconsin's a great example, and they may prove to be a very good team once they face somebody decent out of the East, or some of the decent teams in their own division, Minnesota, Iowa, etc. But we know that Wisconsin didn't take on a heavyweight in the non-conference play. BYU was supposed to be the big game. BYU's awful. Utah State's awful. So they haven't played anyone. But most people just consider, okay, Wisconsin, they're a top 10 team, fringe top 10. That's where we place them to begin the season. That's where we're going to keep them there until we see something otherwise. So some of my highlights would be, yeah, I got Georgia at 6. I got Mississippi State at 7. I've got Cal at 8. I've got Vandy coming off the Kansas State win and an undefeated record, and dominance of Middle Tennessee State. Got them at 10. Let's see. Yeah, your Maryland team at 7. Boy, you trumped me on that one. I thought I was pretty radical at 14. I've got Kentucky at 13 coming off the win against South Carolina on the road. Yeah, Memphis at 21. So we're thinking along the same lines, and I've got San Diego State in there after the win against Stanford, and they're 2-0 as well. So we'll see how it plays out. Do I think some of those teams are that good? No, I don't. But to date, they have yet to prove that they can be beaten, and they match up pretty well through 3 weeks. All right, Josh, we appreciate the time, man. It's always a good discussion.
Absolutely, Mark. Thanks for having me on.